I am a wedding planner who watched a mother go bankrupt trying to satisfy her daughter's impossible demands until she finally found the courage to say no when a $150,000 wedding budget ballooned to $400,000 because a 25-year-old bride had never heard the word no. I witnessed firsthand how setting boundaries can save both relationships and finances. In 15 years as a luxury wedding planner, I've seen my share of Bridezillas, but nothing prepared me for Brittany and her mother, Linda, a case study in how decades of indulgence can create an adult with no concept of reality or consequences. When Linda contacted me, she seemed like any excited mother planning her daughter's wedding, mentioning that budget wasn't really a concern. She wanted Brittany to have everything she'd dreamed of, setting a figure of $150,000 generous but reasonable among my clientele. My first meeting with Brittany set off immediate alarm bells. At 25, she arrived 2 hours late without apology and spent the consultation scrolling through Instagram while barking requests at her mother, who dutifully took notes and nodded enthusiastically at each outlandish idea. Over the next 3 months, Brittany's demands grew increasingly impossible. Rare cherry blossoms from Japan, $30,000, a custom-built floating platform, $45,000, exclusive rental of a luxury resort for a week, $200,000, a live elephant, $15,000, a full orchestra instead of the string quartet, $50,000, and acrobats during dinner. Each time I presented alternatives or explained limitations, Brittany would throw tantrums or call her mother to complain. Linda would inevitably instruct me to just make it happen. The breaking point came when Brittany casually mentioned wanting her fiancé's family uninvited because they were too basic. When I explained this wasn't an option, Brittany stormed out. After another call from Linda, I requested an urgent meeting with her alone. Linda arrived looking exhausted. As I laid out the updated budget, now exceeding $400,000, she broke down and admitted she couldn't afford any of it. She'd been taking out loans and maxing out credit cards, risking her house. Linda was a middle school teacher who'd been saving since Brittany's birth. She'd inherited her house but was now mortgaging it to fund Brittany's demands. With Linda's permission, I arranged a meeting with Brittany to explain the financial reality. Instead of showing concern, Brittany responded with indifference, suggesting her mother get another job or ask other relatives for money. When informed that her grandparents had passed away years ago, Brittany simply stated that it was her wedding and her mother should figure it out. Something in Linda finally broke, or perhaps mended. She stood up and announced that the wedding was canceled, telling Brittany she needed to get a job and contribute to household expenses. Brittany moved in with her fiancé's family, the same basic people she'd wanted to uninvite. They took her in with conditions. She had to get a job, pay rent, and contribute to expenses. 2 weeks later, after being required to work at a grocery store, Brittany called Linda, begging to come home. Linda agreed on the condition that Brittany keep her job, pay rent, and help repay the non-refundable wedding deposits. 6 months later, Linda invited me for coffee and described a remarkable transformation. Brittany was still working, had enrolled in community college, and had developed appreciation for money and her mother's sacrifices. They were planning a small, affordable wedding that Brittany was helping to pay for. Saying no was the hardest thing I've ever done, Linda told me, but it was also the most important thing I've ever done for her. In my profession, I create beautiful celebrations of love. But what I witnessed between Linda and Brittany was perhaps the purest act of love I've seen, a parent finding the courage to set boundaries,